We're here with Cliona Sharkey, Environmental Justice Policy Officer at Trocare. Cliona, can you tell me a bit, why did Trocare want to come to the summit? What are your expectations? What are you trying to achieve here?
Well, Anne-Sophie Trocare has been working on environmental justice issues for a number of years now. Climate change is the most prominent political policy issue within the environmental justice field at the moment. So we have been investing a lot in the area of climate change in the organisation for the past number of years, both in terms of our programme work, so mainstreaming climate issues in our programme work and our livelihoods programmes, through disaster risk reduction work, adaptation within agricultural practices, things like that. And then also at the policy and advocacy level, we've been running lobby work and campaigning, public campaigning, political campaigning, both in Ireland and in coalition with our European counterparts for the last few years, pushing for a fair, ambitious and binding global agreement on climate change. Also within Trocare, we're also working to address our own environmental, our carbon footprint. So we're in a process to reduce our emissions year on year. So we try to take a holistic approach to the climate justice issue.
So far at this summit, would you say that your expectations, have they been fulfilled, or how do you judge the outcomes of this summit so far?
Well, I suppose it's very hard to say. We're just in the beginning of the second week, so you can feel the pace is starting to pick up, but where we're going to be at the end of the week is quite hard to say. There are a number of things on the table before we arrived that were seen as potential concrete deliverables from Cancun. One of those was a fund, a new global climate change fund. The other was to have some of the pledges made on mitigation in Copenhagen captured within the UN. So we have to see whether the political compromises can be made, that they will achieve those outcomes by the end of the week. But what's really crucial for Trocare and for Caritas as a whole is that Cancun is a progressive step towards a fair, ambitious and legally binding agreement, because essentially if that's not the direction we're going in, then this process will not serve the people who are impacted most by climate change. Well, it's actually this time next year, so it'll be 12 months from now in Durban, South Africa. And absolutely, yes, preparations are ongoing. I think the longer you're in these processes, you realise the need to have a long-term perspective and the need to remain engaged. So we saw that with the Copenhagen summit last year, there was an amazing amount of public awareness across the world. And that was a real achievement. But that kind of that momentum needs to be maintained. It needs to be enhanced to keep the public on board, to keep putting the political pressure on leaders to come to an agreement. So we're already thinking about next year, strategizing about what 2011 is going to look like, and what are the different buttons that we need to press, what are the different strategic alliances that we need to make, both within civil society and how to work together as civil society to put pressure on the politicians. So yes, 2011 is firmly in our minds already.